Hello and welcome back to another episode of Supercoach Insider. My name is Ben,
And I'm Swizz.
and
I'm
we have
JP.
a special guest, JP.
And we do have a special guest, JP, former Supercoach winner. Welcome, mate.
Thank you. How are we,
Oh,
boys?
Oh, mate,
good. I
can't
think the
complain.
last time we had you on officially, I think it was it was probably around the time you were winning, wasn't it? It was quite a while ago as far as the official.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of weeks out from winning. Yep.
Mate, and it's been a while, but obviously you are very much big on the chats and part of the brains trust, as we call them, where we pretty much try and get all the good ideas. But look, today what we are doing is we're looking at the top 10 forwards. Stay tuned because it's messy. We are so desperate where we've even thrown up something we don't normally do. We normally say, hey, only pick forwards, but now we're like, oh, if someone's a forward DPP in round 6 and they're better than the tripe and the crap that we've got on offer, throw them up. Put them in your top 10 because seriously, we need all the help that we can get this one. But before we move on, SC Insider 100, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, all the audio platforms as well. Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, you name it. And on YouTube, Swizz?
Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah, Supercoach Insider. And get in contact with us. As you said, Twitter is always a good spot. I know you, Benny, are very active on there. I'm pretty sure I've seen you pop up many times, JP. Where can the fans find you, mate?
Jay Peterman, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then Swizz 26 for me, or just look at me on the Herald Sun these days. I think Benny Boy.
And writing articles, an expert on Supercoach. I think I even posted up saying we've unleashed the beast. And it's funny because I think it's pretty much in these circumstances where Chris is so busy or so absent, like every great father. He so we actually was like, oh, Swizz, come online and have a chat next minute, mate. Everyone's like, oh, can I get more of that Swizz guy? Great insights. And that's what I like about opening it up to people, like even JP here today. Everyone sees the game slightly differently. And when you get a good blend of people that see the game in a different way to add little bits and pieces of insight, it really does help complement the way you see the game. So,
Well,
but before we got on,
I was saying I'm probably only missing Al Patton here for the three people I need to thank most for my for me being pumped up so much. Obviously you've helped a lot. Benny, JP's been friggin' awesome. And apart from obviously being mates with you, Benny, and getting to play cricket with JP, it's good not to only have the common interest of Supercoach, but we obviously talk a lot of other shit as well. So, but forwards, mate, this is going to be a fun show. Friggin' hell, God,
and it's going to be loose to start. We're going 10 up and into 1, so we're all going to go around the table. I'm trying to hit Chris up on the messages as well to see what his top 10 is. I'll see if he's actually getting back to a respond, and I'll send through my 10. Wonderful. I can't wait for that. So we're going to go working our way up, and basically the same as what we do every single year. Once we go around, we kind of justify and hang a bit of crap on each other's picks, and then we work out like, oh, hey, I had that person at 7 or 6, and then we kind of work our way around. And the idea being that right at the end of this, we'll come through. This is our top 10, 1 to 10, and let us know if you share our thoughts or if you think we've missed someone. If there's a glaring omission, like Tom Lynch is coming back and he's kicking 100 goals, then sure, tell us, give us crap as well for our list. That's what it's all about. This is the banter fun side. JP, we'll start with you. Pick 10th highest averaging forward for 2024.
I got about 5 minutes to prepare here, so I don't really have a list going quite yet. I'm going to run with Isaac Rankin.
Oh, yep. The rank.
Good.
CBAs are up.
A bit more mid-time. Yeah, I think he'll do quite well. Not going to pick him, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I don't mind it because I've got him in 8 at the moment as someone to monitor. Because they are definitely looking at him getting in the midfield. He's probably ahead of like your Rochelle's there. Barry did play some more midfield time, but probably hasn't taken the opportunities when there have been there for him yet. But he's a young fella, so it's going to come on. Schoenberg's obviously had issues with his body, so you've got who else there? Dawson Laird, who they're talking about maybe pushed out a little bit just to fit a couple of these other guys in. And then Matt Crouch, who he's had his own issues with his body, so they need to look for the future. Rankin, they paid a high price to get in, and wouldn't be surprised if he does spend more time around the ball.
What a way to start. I mean, boys, you smell that? You smell that stank? That's a Rankin. That's horrible. Both of you. Look, I don't mind him as a player. I just don't know if he's consistent enough for me to justify in the top 10, but we are desperate, so I'm not going to hang it on anyone in the forward line. If it was a midfield or a defensive line, then I'd probably be a bit more harsh with some of my words. But look, I don't mind him. He did definitely get a lot more of the mid time than Rankin and Berry in, as well as another interesting inclusion. So I think there is a little bit of flexibility within that side. And they are, one thing I think we can be certain on is really trying to generate the young players through, as you said, your Rochelle's, your Rankins, etc. So it'll be interesting there. For your number 10, Swizz.
I'm going with Mitch Owens from St Kilda. He's probably a little bit of everything for them. Fills a few roles as that second ruck, second forward, gets up the ball a little bit. Absolutely burst on the scene last year. For those who started him on Supercoach, and there weren't many, you were way ahead of the game because D started on the house on fire and didn't look again. It looked like again against. I know it was only North Melbourne in the practice match, but that first half he absolutely tore it a new one. Kicked goals, took 7 marks. Probably just didn't convert. Well, they actually turned over the ball a little bit. So these Supercoach the Dream team was a little bit apart than what it probably normally would be. But he's a guy with, if St Kilda have the right injuries, potentially could, get close to that triple figures.
How tall is he?
I think he's more of a 90, but yeah.
How tall is he?
Height? Yeah.
Yeah. What?
How tall is he?
That's an extremely good question, which I love that you've put me on the spot for that.
I'll tell you why you shouldn't pick him, though, is that he has 2 first names. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, that's
Machito, is that a first name?
I do have it. I did have
Must
it here.
Be. He's an interesting player, though. And
absolutely great TV, this.
Between Owens and, say, Filippo, I think they've got a lot of up-and-comers sort of in that side. He's an interesting mix, though, because he is strong. I think he trains really hard. Tall enough to obviously be backup ruck, which I do think is something that is interesting as far as, something for him. But yeah, that's an interesting stretch on the 10 there, Swiss.
191. So he's that kind of third. He reminds me of just a younger version, kind of nearly of Membry, but probably better. Get up the ground, take a lot of marks, fill that gap between the transition of the midfield to the forward line. And we've seen forwards like that in the past, especially when teams are successful. And we're all talking about sort of Jack Billings playing that role at Melbourne, but I think Owens probably plays it better and is a more important cog for St Kilda.
JP, did you have Owens in your side?
He's pretty close, but not quite. No,
me neither.
So what about you, Ben? What do you got there at 10 then?
Well, I don't have Owens, and this shows how much of a stretch it is. So for me, number 10, I have Dane Zorko. I can't leave my man out, the old Brisbane faithful.
God, I'm done.
Pre-season this year, boys. So he had the same thing last year, had a cracking pre-season and then got injured. I think it was in the trial game or round 1 or whatever it was. But he came out, he's on fire, and he's that link player for me. So he'll go in and he'll get up and into the midfield in parts, when they need some run. He'll then play forward and try and hit the scoreboard. And I just think with Brisbane winning quite a lot of games this year, which is what I predict, he is someone that could actually capitalize in scoreboard, because Brisbane, for once they started actually trying to handball their way forward rather than just dump kick and put pressure on. So I think they're trying to now actually use that overlap to kind of keep the overlap. And I think someone like a Zorko can really capitalize and actually score, because Brisbane don't have the highest amount of Supercoach scorers. So
we're going highest average or total points here, Ben?
Average. Points isn't. It's like, whose line is it anyway? Points don't matter, which will come into my pick 6, because I definitely don't think he's going to be a great point scorer for the whole year. But that's my number 10. Anyone else have Zork?
No.
Oh, bastards. Bias, absolute bias. It's just because we're playing you this Friday, JP, I think. So into number 9. Who have you got?
I've got a bias pick here and an odd one. Harry Mackay.
Ooh, I like that.
I think he's going to spend a bit more time around the midfield, doing some ruck, linking up, and I reckon he'll come good with his goal kicking. So
I don't
think
know
they
about
have to get rid of Pitney.
I don't think playing both Pitney and De Koning is the answer. I think they do.
He won't play, I don't think. Can't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that makes it interesting as well. Like, does that mean De Koning might actually be worth something more? Because isn't he a forward in general?
He
Pretty
was
sure he
a
is.
forward, but he plays ruck as well. So
Yeah, no. So I mean, I think he'll play ruck this year then, and Harry will chop out. So there could actually be a little bit of scope.
both ways. Yep.
Yeah, both ways. And Mackay, I thought was actually a good one. I picked up late in drafts just because if he kicks and he kicks accurately, then he scores well anyway. The coaches come out saying that they do like the versatility he brings, getting him further up a ground around the ball.
Contested
And I think,
minutes.
yeah, and just makes them more dynamic because they don't have to then just rely on that contested ball game. And if that contested game doesn't go their way, then at least they have the freedom and flexibility to try and play a bit faster if they want to. Swizz?
Yeah, no, I don't mind that. For me, 9, I've got the new Daniel Rioli at Gold Coast, Alex Sexton.
Ooh, the Rioli Sexton. He's someone that's been going off in draft leagues as well. I mean, what do you think he can average then as a forward? That's definitely left field.
It's just like the role's there. That's not the problem. It's just more if he can stay on the park. But there's no issue with the role because it's him, Powell, and then Buderick playing small forward. So
When Weller comes back, though, who gets pushed out, Sexton or Butterick?
Buderick. I
Buderick,
think unless they
sure.
want to move, unless they want to play Wallace like the fourth, because a lot of teams have that fourth defender come off from the bench. And you could potentially see Waller push up a little bit more on the ground. That wouldn't surprise me at all either. So I think Sexton's the guy that they want to take kickouts. It's going to be a bit up and down, but I think he could start the year on fire and then sort of drop back after that.
Out a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's done to Stuart Dew in the past.
No,
He's too talented to have not been playing.
exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a story for a few people. I think, well, we have a friend that's, was it Damien's sister's boyfriend's friend is Sexton, and yeah, apparently they just didn't see eye to eye or whatever. So, which happens, I'm sure, at any club and any business. You have people that just maybe don't get along or have, the same vision as far as some of the leaders, etc. But do you have him in your top 10, JP?
Be pretty close. But,
Pretty
yeah,
close.
probably.
I think he'll score well. I just don't know if, he's the one for me. So that was your.
It's hard
9.
to work out where exactly the scores because I'm thinking, as I said, it wouldn't surprise me. Owens, if like Marshall went down or something, but it went down, he could push the triple, but he's more likely to be 85 to 90. Sexton's probably around that mark. I think forwards around that bottom, the 10th to 5th forward are probably 85 to 90. Like our best forward's probably going to be like, mid 90s this year.
Yeah,
You can
something
throw a
flat.
blanket over.
Yeah.
You can throw a blanket
that's
over
fair.
heap of them.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's fair. Mine is a DPP player, guys. The first one, someone that and the problem is I don't think we're going to get him until I know we're not going to get him till the second round of DPP, but for me, Luke Parker is someone I think with the talent that they have, and when they realize for those first 4 weeks when he's not there, him and Adams, etc., I think he's the tall marking type that can kind of replace a Heaney or work with Heaney to give them a nice tall option with good hands and good conversion up forward. So I think he'll probably get that 35%. So he's one I'm hoping, because I've doubled up or tripled up in some draft leagues when people passed him, that he will get DPP on the second time around. And he's someone I think is very capable of averaging that sort of 90 to 95 in that sort of role. So that's, again, how desperate I am. You boys agree that he could?
I think it's more capped just because of the guys they've got in now. It wouldn't surprise me sort of 80 to 85.
That's low for Parker. He's still a young boy.
It's not that. Oh, yeah. But when you think you've got now Gould and Rowbottom, Mills comes back in, Jordan will be obviously, hopefully, cementing his spot more there. Taylor Adams comes back. They do have a lot of, mouths to feed. So I don't know if it's going to be the Luke Parker that we used to see, depending on how well he comes back from injury.
See, Rowbottom can't average more than 80 Supercoach. It's in his contract.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you reckon, JP?
Parker?
Yeah, what average?
Yeah, 85-ish.
Oh, I'm hoping for 90. Oh,
Yeah,
I might have overshot there, boys.
You want your draft pick, backed up here. But
he was available. I think
will be like, I don't know about that, Benny.
I think it was pick 120 in one league, 140 in another. No one was going there, so
yeah, there's a reason.
Yeah, you can hit and hope, mate. I'm the injury ward in a lot of draft leagues. There's value there. For me, so I've already gone number 9. So number 8 now for you, JP.
Oh, I'm still on the fly here. Sorry, boys.
Should we go the other way around? Put Swizz up and then me and then you.
Didn't I? I just did one.
You did 8. You've done 8. Yours was.
Yeah, I've done my 8. Mine was ranking.
Yep.
I'm already done.
I'm going to go Charlie Curnow.
Oh, no bias. You've gone the double Carlton.
I think one will go up
Yeah.
a bit, and I think Charlie might drop down a bit, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, both best 2 key forwards in the league, so I can't, really doubt or question that at all. Do you have him in yours, Swizz?
Now I had him like sort of. Was it going to be him or Owens at number 10?
Yeah,
I was
I've
sort
got
of
him.
debating that.
I've got him around
He's
the
such
mark
a great
as
player,
well.
but he relies heavily on absolutely dominating teams, like when he kicks massive bags, like he did last year. When he kicked 20 goals against West Coast for the year.
Yeah,
like they don't have the Eagles twice this year. I don't think so.
Well, the best part is, he's going to average 90 to 92 for the regular season and about 35 in the finals. So that's Oh, hey, we're literally flashbacks. I'm going to the Gabba this Friday night, and I took a mate of mine from work. He's a Carlton fan. That first quarter, everyone's up and about, and we're just there like, what is going on? And it was just goal after goal after goal, and the Lions just got absolutely smashed. So yeah, it's going to be, and
I'll be in Bali Friday, where I watched it last time as well. So,
there you go. So it could be all over again. Yep. For me, I'm going Heaney, boys, number 8. I just think, again, they're pretty thin on that sort of part. If Heaney's fit and they're firing and they get their sort of brigade together, those injuries as well, I think can only help him maybe get a couple more sort of CBAs. He did get a bit of a smidge more in the practice match, I think, than he did just a week gone. But he's a quality player, kind of hitting that prime, I think, as well, as far as that age bracket for him. Anyone have Heaney in their mix?
Yeah,
I didn't. Yeah, you did. I didn't. I had him 12th if I was going to rank them all. Again, I need to see more. I need to see more midfield time from Heaney. That's the problem. There's so many. There's even more mouths to feed. That's Sydney this year, I feel like.
You're missing the scaling he gets anytime he kicks a goal in any time.
That is true. I think it's a case that, as JP said before, there's a blanket. Like, it's probably going to split. I feel like going down my list from maybe 5th to, or even 4th down to, 14th, 15th. Yeah. We're going to be talking maybe 2 points difference, 3 points difference.
Interesting. Where'd you have him? Or where do you think he might go, JP?
I had him at 7.
7. And you've done 8, so is Harry. So that's your 7 done as well. Swizz, who have you got for 7?
I've got Toby.
Toby? Nankervis?
No.
Forward DPP up on his pung foot.
The only thing that I know, like, and it's hard to rank these guys because they have the one extra game. But Toby Green starts up like he's going to potentially. We're going to all be frustrated not having him rounds. What'll that be, 1 and 2 when they play West Coast and North? Like, there's a GWS forward that is going to the moon. A part of me thinks it could be Jesse Hogan because he did it against the Bombers last year. But it wouldn't surprise me if Toby comes out, kicks 5 or 6 first couple of games.
That's 150. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So he could start the year averaging like, 130 to 150. And then it's, obviously scales back from there. But he's such a gun player. He's probably the most watchable player in the league. Just because the antics behind everything that he does. So yeah, I think he's got to be in the mix somewhere to me. It's just, so I fitted him in there at 7.
Yep.
You have him in your top 10?
I had him at 5.
5? Ooh. I don't have him at all. So there you go.
And this is the thing with the forwards, mate.
90, 90 flat. It depends as well. Like if they kind of don't need him around that forward line as much, he might be able to move up and down the ground. He pretty much has a license to do whatever he wants. So if the game calls for it, if there was someone that you would go, let's just throw you up on there to kind of create something, up you get. We need some scoreboard. Let's just throw you forward. Or deep forward, they can pretty much put him anywhere, which is probably the benefit of him. So that's
I think
5.
Just from a footy point of view, that's probably what Carlton lacks a little bit. Because like you look at us, like it's always
talent.
It's always been dusty. You get up for that big moment. You guys have got sort of Zorko that get in people's faces, and to a lesser extent, sort of Zach Bailey. And Toby Green's probably the best at it. But yeah, I've always thought the Blues probably just missed that. Okay, the game's on the line. This player, Mr. Reliable,
line and kick a goal. Yeah,
yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so my 7 is I've got Bolton at 7.
Yeah.
He's probably something you could kind of interchange with Green. I mean, similar kind of roles forward. They move up a bit, heavily impacted as far as on the scoreboard. I just think he's shown it a few times before around that mark in the top 10. He's got that high ceiling as well with Green. So I think there's probably just enough games that he just blows apart. He's just not consistent enough for me to kind of start him in standard. So you're going to get the big scores, and you're also going to get the games where he just sort of does and fizzles and does nothing.
Yeah, I got him at 6. So, and it was sort of debating between him and Toby, the 6 and 7. I've always said it. Grimo and I say this all the time when we go to the footy. Shea Bolden's going to kick 10 to 12 one game in his career because he's absolutely going to just smash a shit team and rip them a new one. But as you said, the inconsistencies. And there's some games where he kicks 1 goal 4 or 5 and you just pull your hair out. And there's other games where, he looks the best player in the world. So it's, in a perfect world, I'd love to put him at 1, but he just needs to improve in a couple of areas.
Well, if Bobby Hill can kick 4 goals, then there's hope for anyone to kick a bag, really.
On his day, he's as good to watch as anyone in the league.
Yeah, he sells tickets, that's for sure.
But few and far between sometimes, yep.
And you've done 5. JP, do you have a 6?
Yeah, I had Bolton at 6.
Oh, Bolton at 6 as well. Okay, so we're all pretty much on the same sort of page. My 6 is best left field. Chris will be extremely excited and happy. For total average, not total points, because I'm hoping he doesn't follow through here, but I've got the Fish for me at number 6. Just if he does get that role, I know it'll be a defensive sort of role, but for me, I think, if he gets that role like the Aaron Hall kind of racking it up, I think McKerch is probably young enough that it'll be the Shees and Fish show. And for me, Fish is 6. So I don't know if he features. Does he feature in yours at all?
Yeah.
Oh, higher.
4.
Oh.
I reckon he's good to go.
Swizz, where have you got him? No, can't be
I do.
1.
This guy is going. Think Jack Zeeble, Aaron Hall the last 2 years. They are gone. They were going to the moon in that North Melbourne backline, and I think the Roos are finishing the spoon. Like, I can't actually. Everyone's like, oh, they're going a couple more games. They're not. Like, check the fixture. They are not. And it's not the worst thing. I was talking to some North supporters on the weekend, and they're like, great, 1 more year of being shit. That's fine. 1 more year of the best talent in our club. And there'll be other Roos supporters like, no, shut up, Swizz.
Yep.
We don't want to hear this. But,
and 1 more year that the number 1 draft pick won't be able to go to North Melbourne.
It won't be going to them, but they'll still get the number 2. But but Fish is playing that role. The only issue I have with Fisher is it's his body. If his body holds up, he's the number 1 forward this year, outside of dual position players.
Like, I wanted to pick him 1, but I just wasn't confident. Yeah.
I felt bad having him at 6.
And if we had Grimo here right now, he'd be going Ben number 1 lock, because he's been so big on him in our group chats every day. It's like, you guys will have Fisher locked in the moment you see him fit and firing. Like, this guy can average 100 playing in that role.
For those playing at home, during the draft day that Chris and I have, we may have put a bit of a ledger. I had Zach Bailey for total points against Fisher total points. Hoping Fisher kind of maybe falls over. I do own him. And Chris is like, oh, how dare you try and put a hex on your F1 in standard? And I was like, yes, but 4 of the first 6 rounds are buys. So please, if he is going to do it in a buy and not actually have him on field where it's best 22 and then it actually hurts. So, I just think, again, he's, North like that role, and it's with Hall
North
and everyone else
that
going.
role, mate.
And with him out, it's the Shees. And if Sheezel, McKercher if McKercher sort of fills in a little bit throughout the season, Sheezel could play mid, he could play forward, he can kind of go wherever, which is why Sheezel's really valuable. But then that just leaves Fisher there racking up whatever's left anyway. And the part I think I had, for me, he was number 1 for the kickouts as well, I believe. Yeah. And I don't think, unless Luke McDonald's coming in, I doubt he's going to have with his Luke brand new hamstring tendon. Hamstring tendon, I don't think so. So I think for me, it's Fisher, take that dash, run off, played on from every single opportunity I believe he had.
Give him go as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he'd love the sneaky 1-2, watching Gary Ablett
Mate,
highlights.
there was one
someone.
play in the match sim where he got it 3 times.
Yeah.
Coming out of it, or was it it might be in the inter club. Like it went him to whoever, back to Fisher, LDU back to Fisher, kick it up the ground. And just like, not that we need reminding, but Jack Zeeble 2 years ago went 107 playing that role. Yeah, and there's like he's gone out of that. Even last year, Zeebles was like, was he going 80, 89, 90? But that's not taking into account his injury games. I think take out his injury games, he was
He was over
95.
100. He was pretty much over
And
100
then-
because Chris only lost that bet because he became sub and got
then
injured. That's literally.
and the other guy. So you had Aaron Hall. So he went 88, 97, 105, and injury adjustment, it was 109 and 114.
They have a seagull down there every year. Yep.
They do every year. And Fisher's the guy this year.
And the ball's down there. Yep.
Yep.
Totally agree.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I guess get that Fisher on your line because it's seagull season. Just get him in your sides. What is he, 379K or something off the top of my head?
Like he's just, you just got to start him because everyone's going to be on him. The hurt is too much if you're not on him. And
I was hoping to avoid.
If he gets injured, he gets injured. So bad.
But again, if he gets injured, that's why you can have more risk because, again, 4 out of the first 6 rounds are buys and it's best 18. So it doesn't even matter as much. Same as, normally you start a loophole, but I'm like, I can just play, like pick a team with everyone playing, knowing the fact that 4 out of the first 6 rounds I'll get a loophole and then I'll have a loophole later anyway.
And if he gets injured late in the game, like he might have scored 110 that game anyway.
I think it's a good year to start your Fifes, your Yos, those injury-prone ones, because, again, you almost, if they get injured, like was it 66% of the first 6 rounds, it's best 18. So if they do go down, it's like, okay, well, it's not going to hurt you as much as what it would normally. Because normally if it's best 22 the whole way through, you're literally walking on eggshells for the entire first part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this way, you kind of get a bit of a free hit for the first, not quite a free hit, but that way it's not going to be as painful based on their ownership, based on the fact that it is best 18. And then if they are injured or they don't look like they're great, well, then just start being aggressive and start trading and manipulating using those extra trades. Alrighty, so number 5, I think. So JP, you've done your 5 and your 4. Swizz, your 5?
Jackson McRae.
That's low.
Yeah, I know, but
that's like Bevo height. That's
Bevo, mate. Bevo. That's all you need to say about this. So we know it's Bont, Libba, Treloar. They're their main 3. But the problem was they would have not had Riley Sanders rated so much in the mix just yet, and he comes out in the match sim and has 30. Just
30
dominant.
touches.
The kid looked so at home. And that from half time, I was just like, wow, Jackson McRae is not going anywhere near that midfield anymore. He has to wait for one of like Treloar pretty well Treloar get injured. And even if that happens, I'm not even confident that McRae goes in. Like
James Harms will get a bit of time.
James Harms, Caleb Daniel seems to be a bit of the outer now because of Sanders, but he was the preferred guy originally in the preseason. They've got that many half backs. They can throw Richards or whoever else they really want to.
I think they flagged Richards and Dale as well, and people that can kind of push up the ground a little bit.
Because they have like 8 half backs. So I can't see McRae leaving either half forward or the wing all year. And if he's playing that wing role, like we see all wingmen outside of probably Andrew Gaff 1 year. Dacos was pretty handy on it, but
Cluggage
in the Josh Dacos. But McCluggage goes enough inside to boost his scores and has that big match. So what's McRae going to get? Like 90? I think he's around that mark with everybody
94,
else.
95 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got him a bit higher up, but I've got him about that sort of 97, 98, just because I think that there's still probably enough room for him to have some good scores. But again, it's hit and hope. And the fact that he hasn't been playing or training doesn't really help either outside of the speculation on what he might do. But as you know, as soon as you're out of that main squad, then someone can come in like a young bull like Sanders to just do the pitbull work. It might actually freshen up Liberatore, make him not have to try and lift and do everything. We've got this young bull in here doing the hard yards, getting down and dirty with clean hands, scooping it off the ground well. And they're like, well, we need more people on the outside to deliver it into 50, and that's you, McRae, and enjoy. So, interesting. So, McRae, I had at number 3.
Same.
Okay, so 3. So, look at that. We're just ticking it all off. JP only has 1 and 2 up his sleeve. I think I know who it might be. For me, my next one. So that was which one for you, Swizz? That was
5.
4? 5.
Oh,
Okay.
that
So who
was
have you
my
got?
5th.
4 and 5. I had. I've got Dylan Moore, number 5. So yeah, I know, right? Dylan Moore out
Funny,
of
you've got more this
wasn't
year
even in
after
my
all
top
this
10 last year.
year.
Good old Maury. But
Nice.
mainly just because I think I know he had glandular fever and he probably we haven't seen enough, but he's someone I think could, we talk about that whole blanket rule. He's someone that I think could get more half forward up into that midfield sort of mix as something a little bit different, possibly. Whereas, when you kind of look at, Ginnivan coming in, plus they also was at that high draft pick as well. What's his name? I can't remember now.
Watson, the
So
wizard.
then you bring those two forwards into there. Moore probably doesn't really need to be that anymore. And he's such a respected leader at that club where if they're going to give more opportunity to kind of get up the ground a little bit more, I think he is someone that is a good candidate for it, which means that could boost his average 12 months too late for some of you.
Mate, if it wasn't for the glandular, I would have probably been with you on that one. But I know it knocks players around. It knocks everyone around who gets it. So I think it's going to
Had
take
a bit of time off though.
He has,
bit of-
but I still think. But then that's pre-season. Like he would have not been doing any of the running. They're talking about him playing round 1, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be at full capacity. Would not be surprised if he even started the year as sub, or he might need to be subbed off or rested or stuff because it does knock you around. So I feel like it could be a slow start. Probably comes home strong.
He's lucky Hawks only ever play at half capacity anyway.
Yeah.
Both in effort and in crowds. No? Anyone? Sorry, Hawks
You
fans.
get it. You got nothing, Ben.
No, I know. No, we'll cop hate later. It's fine. So that's my 5, and that's pretty much everyone's 5. Swizz, your 4.
I've got Jackson from the Freo Dockers. And I did not know where to put him because he is completely reliant on Shrek going down injured.
Which
If
he will.
That means
if
JP's
Darcy goes down,
faded someone big because there's 3 people I think that are pretty big, and JP's only got 2 options left. So he's faded someone out of these 3 that I think you, me, Swizz, I think we've got these 3 players, and I reckon JP looks like he might have either forgotten or faded. For me, I've got Jackson at 4.
Yeah.
So I'm very similar to you. Meanwhile, if Darcy doesn't miss a game, then he's playing forward Jackson, and he could be
Jackson may as well be 15th on this list then.
Yeah, correct. He could be 88 average.
Yeah.
If
or 110.
Darcy's
No, yeah.
Or 110
He could
if
be
he's-
80. Like he's one. If Darcy went down right now, he's 110 to 115. Playing key forward, he could be 80 because Tabin is back as well. So he might not even get. It just depends how they use him. So
and he's been playing
such a
key
hard person
forward
to
as
rank.
well, like
But
training key forward.
Yeah. Shrek's history of missing games, I'm like, well, there's enough games in there where Jackson's going to play ruck. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
If it was accidental, I think we've given him enough reason to say, oh, I left him out of my side on purpose. JP, is he in your side?
No.
On purpose.
I can live with that. Yeah.
On purpose.
I'll bet close, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
No, that's fair.
There's plenty of question marks there.
We'll count it. So that means we are all on the same page with not top 2 because you had him Fish number 1 there, Swizz. So we'll start with your number 3 then because that's what we're up to.
Yeah, it's my boy Dusty.
Dusty for number 3. JP.
Number
Where have you got
3,
him?
Flanders. Oh,
So
number 2
have you got
is
Dusty?
Flanders. No Dusty.
No Dusty.
No Dusty.
I love that.
Okay, so no Dusty for you. I think you're being a little bit harsh there, Wiz, mate, because chopsticks come in 2s, mate. So I've got Dusty at 2. For me, I think Dusty's going 100 average or close enough, 99 average. He's got 99 problems, but after this season, living in Melbourne isn't one. So
the reason why I don't have him at 1 and 2 is because I feel like it's going to be a long year for my Tigers, especially if Tom Lynch is out. So I can see Dusty playing that role early on, but once our season is cooked, there is no reason to play him through the midfield. Yeah, so I think there'll be a drop off later in the year where we start putting other guys through it, and Dusty's going to sit in the forward pocket.
I think he's a fair chance of being forward a fair bit.
And I can see that happening too.
Well, see, I'm upset because the coach came out and he was training all preseason in the midfield because they're like, well, we know he can play forward, so we don't really need to work on that. But they're talking about, CBAs, not playing midfield probably all around the ground, but using him in CBAs because he is really damaging and impactful from the centre bounce. When you have all of that room forward of centre to try and take it on, I think that's where you will see him get those CBA attendances. Whereas around general play, I don't see him being around it. He'll be forward of the ball, trying to kick goals or trying to actually deliver with his. He takes it on that kick inside 50 as well. So I think that's where they kind of look to be using him. However, either it's just preseason and they're kind of nursing him in, but he didn't get many CBAs at all after the coach pretty much. I even screen recorded the props he gave him and then literally goes out there and goes, no CBAs for you, really, mate. Just kick back.
If he misses
could have
top
kicked
10,
about 3.
if he misses top 10, no eyebrows raised here. It wouldn't surprise me.
Really?
Yeah, it would not.
But a late fade, though, you're saying.
I'm
Starting
thinking
off
it's late.
well.
I think he starts there because we've got to. Early on in the season, you're trying to win games. Like Uze's not coming in to go, okay, it's a rebuild year. We've still got good enough players that they're going to have a crack. But I feel like after a while, the drop off will come. And then it's just like, okay, we've got nothing to lose, play some other guys.
Not only that, the draft, the top 5 picks next year look pretty solid as far as the midfield. Like they're already talking about, 5, 6 players that look just freakishly good. And then it's good too, because when you have, I think it's O'Sullivan who was, I think the Vic Country lost every game a couple of years ago. Maybe it was under 15s or 16s, and he got best on field for the whole tournament in a team that didn't even win a game. And now he's kind of gone from being top 1 and Ashcroft. So Levi's now creeping up into 1 and a few others are kind of coming into the mix. And now all of a sudden you've got, you got who was it say? O'Sullivan? No.
I think that's who you said.
Yeah, Will O'Sullivan. Yeah. I think it is. But now he's starting to push back towards like 5th pick. So I think there's definitely merit in order to finish a little bit lower this year, especially before Tasmania start actually rating a whole bunch of the talent. So
hoping Richmond can do that on their own accord anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Down. So number 2, JP, you had Flanders.
Yep.
Swizz?
Yeah, number 2.
I've got Flanders number 1. Don't ask me why. I'm hoping he can put it together.
It's a hard one because we know we didn't see the kind of the roll through that preseason as much as what I think everybody was hoping, and it has put people off, which I can understand. And the early buy doesn't help, but we did see him actually start slow last year and then come home on a house on fire, and a little bit because of Tuk's injury. And every club's going to cop injuries too, so I think Flanders is going to be that 4th midfielder at least to start. And at some point throughout the season, I don't expect Tuk, Anderson, and Rao to play all 23 games. Like they're going to obviously miss at some point. And as long as Flanders isn't missing that same week, then he gets bumped up as the 3rd midfielder. And I think Dimmer won't have the reliance just on those 3 like Big Stewie Dow did. So you would think that Flanders has got to get a little bit more time. He really likes Humphrey. He really likes Flanders. So, yeah, he's going to be around the ball enough to be pushing up his average.
I know. Coach gives him a big props too. Get him in your side. We're going to feed him the ball. And next minute, he didn't know how to feed. So it's just leaving scraps everywhere. He just didn't want it. So, I think it'll be interesting to see sort of what he delivers. But that's it. Chris hasn't even given us his top 10, so he'll drop that up in the YouTube comments as well. Let us know who you're thinking. Let us know where you've got Fisher, I think was probably the surprising one, and McRae. Fisher, McRae, Jackson, where do you sort of have them ranked? Do you have them high up on the list like some of us, or do you have them falling out or dipping down? So McRae was 1, Swizz had sliding. We might finish off by just saying who you had from your 1 to 10. I don't know if JP remembers.
God, no.
No, his 10.
10 was Rankin, McKay.
Oh, who was 1 for you?
Winding back the clock and going 5 his life.
5? Okay.
Yeah. I just want him there.
So 5, Flanders.
If he can keep his body going all year, I reckon he can get close to it.
Wow. No, I don't mind that at all. Swizz, you had 5 not in your 10 either?
Mine was Fisher, Flanders, Dusty, Jackson, McRae, Shea, Toby, Rankin, Sexton, and Owens.
And I had Flanders, Dusty, McRae, Jackson, Moore, Fisher, Bolton, Heaney, so Parker, and then Zorko. And I know JP had, was it the Kurnow and McKay kind of sitting around that, was it 7, 8th?
Yeah.
Fife at number 1, which is, the surprising one as well.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's that controversial. If he's fit and he's got the role and it looks like he does, if he keeps his body together, he'll only get more confidence anyway, Fife. So
Comes out, wins a third Brownlow.
Well, probably, he definitely could. And he's the type of player that doesn't.
It's not that ridiculous because we've seen it. Like we've been talking wines as well in our group chats. The guy, he only won a Brownlow 2-3 years ago. Like just because players get injury years like Jack Steele did. But they have that year, they have that couple of years. They don't lose their form. So as long as their body holds up, they could completely dominate. And Fife, they've got the confidence that he's back in the midfield. So if he plays, 20 games, well, why couldn't he just absolutely smash it again?
And they'll need him in the midfield too when their coach gets sacked about 11 rounds in. So, well, they have to play faster. Anyway, that's it from us for the forward line. Stay tuned. We're going to do, I think it's the rucks as well today. Tomorrow, defense and the midfield. Oh, no, we're doing midfields today. And then tomorrow, I believe we'll do defenders and rucks. Swizger's going to the official.
That's all right.
Well, no, we did defenders, but not our top 10. So we'll probably just summarize our actual top 10. We were meant to do a whole series, but then, it's it is where it is. JP, thanks for coming on, mate. The late call up, super well prepared, but insightful as always. We appreciate
no preparation at all.
And I feel great when JP's here because it puts Swizz in his place because we have a celebrity and you're kind of up here and it kind of just pushes Swizz down enough. That makes me happy.
Mate, I'm happy to be, second to JP. He's an expert. He bats higher than me in the order as well for cricket. He's got the runs on the board, so he deserves praise.
I was going to say second to DP, and then you talk about bats, so I think we'll just finish it on that note. Hired by JP, always happy, and let us know. Put some comments in there, interact with this as well, and we'll talk to you soon. Like, subscribe. Bye.
Thanks, guys.